Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the final word. This video is sponsored by OneFootball's app. OneFootball's app brings you the latest stats, scores, and all the latest news in one place. To download the OneFootball app, click the link in the description. We've got El with us. He's laughing because he used to work for OneFootball, and he's like, I've had enough of all this spiel. He's come back from Germany, seen football all across the continent of Europe. But there's no place like home.
Nah, not when Everton are winning football matches. I think I've come back at a good time, haven't I?
Certainly have.
Yeah.
Oh, the best
Come
time.
back at the best time.
The best
It
time.
was the best of times.
Because the rest of it was all
Yeah.
The rest of it wasn't great, El, but you are back. Like the renegade master. It's all good.
Excuse me if my voice is a little bit off. It's because I was laughing so much at Arsenal Fan TV yesterday. So, no, nice 3 wins in a row. It's all good. We're all happy. It's all working the way it's supposed to be working, isn't it?
Boss is what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Excellent performance. They've been fantastic since the break, 17-day break, haven't we really, barring the half an hour at Newcastle, which was calamitous.
Yeah.
Other than that, and it's got better and better and better and better, and that's the thing. And what we said in the preview last week was the key is, are we able to take the West Ham performance into a tough game against the team going for the Champions League spots, and we did.
Yeah, I think it's all clicked, doesn't it? I don't know what's happened, because there was a time when the run was pretty dismal, but it's really clicked now, and I think the key to that is the balance in the team. I think Marco Silva's finally had some consistency, and I think we know our strongest team now, and the balance, I think, key to that is Richarlison and Bernard out on those wings. Adds balance, but it gets the best out of Coleman and Luca Dean as well, and it just looks like a well-oiled machine at the moment. It's all clicking right, and players are able to play the little triangles, move up the pitch, and that's the other thing, the movement. Yeah. But it feels like it's been so long. Like West Ham, honestly, I was flabbergasted at just the simple things of, like, there was a little 1-2, Calvert-Lewin played it into Sigurdsson and then ran beyond them. And it's like, that's football, but we haven't seen that, have we? Like, just the simple things, and it's just nice to see the team playing well, and the confidence is there now. And hopefully, we can have a nice run for the end of the season and finally build on that.
Yeah. I think what we've seen, and I think yesterday showed that as well, there's that, you talk about the balance. There's a confidence there, and players know each other's positions now. I think that's such an important thing. Whereas beforehand, we were chopping and changing every game, and you can't underestimate the difference between having someone like Dominic Calvert-Lewin up front or having Cenk Tosun up front. They're completely different players. Yeah. If you knock a ball into space with Dominic Calvert-Lewin, I mean, there was one yesterday. It was a nothing ball that he got himself, and it was the one where Mustafi took him out. A ball like that, I mean, Cenk Tosun would have still been on the halfway line. Do you know what I mean? It's little things like that. That if you play a pass to someone like Dom, or you play into the channel, sorry, if you've got someone like Dom, he's going to get it. Cenk won't get it, but you still might play that pass because you're playing on instinct at times. And I think little things like that are huge. Knowing the fella next to you, what his job is. And I think everything, like you just said, everything has clicked in the last month in terms of one player's style rubbing off on another player. Yeah. And those little partnerships, which are huge things in football, are starting to be developed. And we've got that. I know we said it last week, but we're starting to see more of that blueprint of what the manager wants. And I think, regardless of what happens now till the end of the season, you can see now that we're going to have a fighting chance in every game because players are willing to put the hard miles in now because it's all starting to pay off.
I think, like yesterday, if you're looking at the team, we seen the team at 1 o'clock, and it was same team again, no issue with that, being excellent the last couple of weeks, and and then obviously when you're in your seat and Jags leads the team out, because I had seen nothing else other than Keane was playing. I'm sat there thinking, that's Jags. I could see like the 6, but you can tell who's the captain. I'm thinking, and he walks out onto the pitch, and then you go, all right, let's see how this works out, because he's up against someone like Lacazette, who's quick, you know, quite strong, good goal scorer. For Jagielka to just come in and perform in the manner in which he did, and it not disrupt the team, that's the biggest thing for me, is that players now are coming in and are stepping up to the plate. Jagielka, listen, he played against Cardiff a few weeks ago at the start of this run, and he was brilliant. The first minute, he almost gifted them a goal. But after that, he was brilliant, and he organised the defence, and we looked better that night off set plays and everything, because he was in the team. And he was unfortunate to lose his place against Liverpool really on the Sunday. And then we've not seen him again. And then yesterday he starts, and he's absolutely brilliant again at that. And, you know, this is a 36-year-old defender. You're looking and going, yeah, his legs are probably going now. He's up against that lad who's really quick, and he put one tackle in early doors. Lacazette was rolling around like someone had machine gunned his legs. Jags just snapped him with a great challenge in the box, went out for a corner, got up, got on with it. And after that, you were like, sound, he's not going to have any issues here today.
But I think that's the thing with Jagielka slotting in, and I agree completely about Tosun and Calvert-Lewin being different, but I think now we've got that balance. I think the players that come in, like your Tosuns, like maybe your Schneiderlins in midfield and that, I think it's easier for them. The players who haven't really, it hasn't gone well for them. I think now that we've got that balance,
just because it's the odd player,
I think it's easier for those players to maybe do a bit better. I think like when Tosun first came, do you remember Tottenham away? How isolated he was. I think now we've got, I think the key as well is the midfield too. The fact that Gomez can get up and down the pitch is massive. I just feel like we've got a really nice team now, a really nice balance to it, a nice fluidity. And I do think that now it will be a lot easier that if we do have an injury or a suspension, your players like your Jagielkas will slot in so much easier, because those around them know what their job. So
it's it. You know, I don't want to see anyone come in.
No,
I must admit, but would make it a lot easier. And Jagielka was fantastic yesterday. I did worry, you know, being so late and obviously playing up against Lacazette.
We've seen this in Newcastle the other week when John Joe came in. At that, you know, Seamus Coleman was on the team sheet. We come out at 3 o'clock and John Joe Kenny's in it. And, you know, John Joe didn't play very well that day, and you know, was caught out for their first goal, which for me was the winner, really. The first one, because had they not scored at that time, I think we'd have controlled the game. But Jags came in, and obviously all the experience of being able to step into that breach, and because everybody else is settled, it is an easier job for one player to come in. You see this at other top clubs where they might lose a player and it doesn't really affect them, because the team is so rigid and everyone knows what each other's doing. And I think that's exactly what we're seeing now. We're seeing, like you said, just right at the start, the partnerships are there. You look at the left-hand side, you see Dean and Bernard, it's fantastic. Richarlison, Seamus Coleman looks like he's been reinvigorated totally since Richarlison's gone in front of him. Looks like a different right-back. 8 weeks ago, we were going, definitely the right-back. It's a priority in the summer. It's an absolute priority. Now you're going, well, if Holgate comes back and he can take his form from West Brom and he pushes Seamus, then we don't need to spend 45 million on Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka's brilliant, and I don't know whether Everton could get him. But what I mean is, he's a player who's been mentioned with Everton a few times this season, and you'd go, I'd love him. But he'd cost 45, 50 million. Now in a budget, if you've all of a sudden got Seamus Coleman playing at 7 and 8 out of 10 every week, and you've got Mason Holgate who can do that role, all of a sudden you think, well, that 45 million can be spent elsewhere. It's that kind of thing, I think, when you're looking at now.
Well, it's the thing about, it's always about relationships, I think, relationships all over the park. Coleman now can play his natural game. He knows if Richarlison's there, he'll get back and work hard. Luca Dean's the same with Bernard. Bernard, you know, works his socks off defensively as well, as great as he is attacking. And we've got those two wingers that they've got the work right there. But Coleman now, I don't think he ever had that relationship with Walcott. Coleman was doing two people's jobs, I think.
The problem with Walcott is that you can't. I don't think you can get past him as a fullback because he's quick, but he's not a player that is ever looking for the outball ever. Where Richarlison actually slows it down, because it actually suits his game when he slows it down, because he's so quick with the ball that he doesn't mind slowing it down, because he knows he can take people on a pace.
Power, hasn't he?
So that allows. We've seen one yesterday. I think Seamus might have just been offside, but Richarlison gets the ball, slows it down. Seamus goes outside him, and Richarlison nutmegs someone with a pass, and it got to him, but he was offside. And it's that kind of thing that that relationship with Walcott was never there. And that's because Walcott's not that kind of player. And really, if he's not that kind of player, you've got to question why he was bought to go together with Seamus Coleman, because that's what you've got to look.
It's a different manager.
No, I know.
Requirements, isn't it?
So that's why I'm allowed to have a go at him. But the point being is that you've got to, when you buy players, you've got to look at how they're gonna fit together as a team, and that's what all the best teams do. They don't ever, we've said that for ages about all the top teams. You don't ever, unless they're absolutely amazing, you've got to have a look at someone when you buy them, feel how they're gonna fit in. And maybe that relationship with Richarlison on the left with Dean didn't quite work because he was playing on the left, and now he's playing on the right. It just seems to be working a little bit better.
I think you're absolutely right. I think with Walcott, he's 30 or 29, nearly 30. You're not going to cheat. He's not all of a sudden going to naturally run back and put tackles in because he's not done it.
No.
He's been playing in a team where they've kind of gone, the full back will support you, but you're our out. But we don't play like that. Seamus Coleman isn't that right back. He's not a reserved right back.
No.
If you ask Seamus to stop crossing the halfway line, which is what he was doing, and when Seamus doesn't cross the halfway line, he ain't great. If his game is to stop on the halfway line and pass it back, which is what he was doing, with Walcott in front of him, you're losing what Seamus Coleman's all about. Seamus Coleman bombs on. Yeah. And when you've got Richarlison, who's 21, who's used to running back, and he's got the strength, and he's got that ability, Seamus has got the confidence to say, I'll go past him.
It shows the difference between last season and this season as well. Last season it was so stagnant. Because, for example, Walcott would have the ball, and that all he's going to do is run himself or he'll cross it. With Richarlison, he can either turn inside, he can hold it, and he's got the skill. You've got Coleman going on, and all of a sudden Arsenal's defence have 3 different things that can happen now that they've got to think about. Whereas last season, every back 4 or 5 that came to Goodison just went, go on then, do what you like with the ball, but you're not going to get there.
A lot of the time this season.
But the thing with,
to be fair.
But I think with the other thing with Richarlison, with going over onto the right-hand side, is when he's on the left, he might cut in and play that ball off and get it back, and then he can try to side foot it. But if that wasn't on, he very rarely goes on the outside because his left foot's more for standing on. He doesn't go on the outside and put great crosses in. So when he's naturally on the right, he can go on the outside and whip them. Yeah. Otherwise, he will come in and attack you in the box, and he can still give and go, and he's still facing the right way. So I think it's opened the pitch up for him. Yeah. I think when he was playing the other side, he had to come inside all the time, and defenders would go, we'll just show him on the outside. He doesn't really like going on the outside. Yeah. Whereas now, like you said, Coleman will go round that one with such a clever ball. It was, I don't know, I haven't seen it again.
That happened 3 or 4 times.
It's like the West Ham in our goal. That was all the movement down the right. Yeah. Players getting the ball. It's so simple, I keep saying it. Fans of other clubs will be thinking, what are they on about? They're just talking about passing and moving. But it was just play it in. You can't turn, spin your man, play it in, and it just works. It's good football.
You can't mark a moving human being. You can't mark them.
Yeah, well, you have to run with him. Yeah. And if you run with him, but if you're thinking I'm trying to play him offside, and he gets in, you're out the game. So you either go with him, and if Coleman gets across you do that or it's a penalty.
That's how all. That's how all. You watch Man City, and you I'm not comparing us to Man City, by the way, but they're the best at it. But when you watch Man City, sometimes you get drawn into going like, how are they doing this? And it's look at the opposition rather than look at Man City, and look at the way all their players are always having to go, because they don't know where to go. Because when they're at their best, the movement and the passing is so quick that what does the opposition player do? Where did he go? Where did he stand? Look at us. If Richarlison's got the ball and Seamus Coleman makes a move, what did the defender do? If he stands still and tries to shape, Richarlison up, and Richarlison plays a clever ball, then Seamus Coleman's in. If he goes with Seamus Coleman, that opens 2 yards of space up, and it's probably we're probably actually better on the other side of that. Because with Bernard, the minute he gets Dean going around the outside, he's a lot better at utilising that space because he's a better footballer than Richarlison is in terms of technique. Suddenly he's got so many different options then.
But then you've got Gylfi coming short, and you've got Gomez coming. So all of a sudden, you have 4 options. Whereas other times this season we've had 1.
That's what it reminded me of, the Baines-Pienaar axis with your Artetas, your Osmans just helping out, feeding the balls. That's what we've got now. We've got. I noticed yesterday, which we haven't seen for ages, the little triangles on the pitch. You've got Gay coming in and just helping out and just keeping the ball moving, keeping it, and you might go back, but you can come back again. And it's just there's options now on the pitch, which we haven't had for a while.
I think the other thing, I mean, a lot of people have been saying all season with Walcott, and this, not having a go at him, he just doesn't quite fit into the way he wants to play. But a manager has to be sure about that. He can't just take rash decisions. If something's working to the way he wants it working, he can't just suddenly go, well, I think, no one would have necessarily said play Richarlison on the right. We were all looking at Lookman, weren't we, or whatever. So this has worked, and it's got Seamus going, and you don't always plan that. Sometimes it just falls into your lap, and I think this style now is fallen to his lap somewhat. But
I don't know, I think when he got Richarlison, he did say he'll play anywhere across the front three. I think he was trying to give. I think he started with thinking Walcott will do well, and Walcott started the season quite well there. He had a few goals early on, but he's got worse, and we've looked for solutions. Look, you're right, Lookman, for whatever reason, hasn't been able to get himself in the team and perform. And Walcott, it's gone back to Walcott. Then we went, because Tosin wasn't doing it up front, and Dom wasn't at the level he's at now, so it was try Richarlison through the middle. So you're looking for solutions, what works. And the other thing is, as well, Bernard wasn't fully fit. No. He hadn't played for 6 months when he made his debut. Then, he's trying to get him up to speed. When now he's up to speed, and you see what he's like. I mean, next season, you're thinking, if he has a pre-season, he could maybe go up another level. But also seeing Andre Gomez fully fit. The last 2 games, he's played for 90 minutes and been fantastic for 90 minutes. So that's what you're seeing now. And because of that, it's enabling the whole team to settle down. And then you've got, obviously, Garner, who's just...
I think, though, it's important.
Ridiculous.
What it is important, it's important not to put these games into isolation, because it is a long season. And you were saying, well, next season, you've got to have all those options, haven't you? You've got to have, whether you like it or not, you've got to have a Theo Walcott maybe around. So I'm not sure, I don't know if he will be next season, but you've got to have that as well, though, haven't you? You've got to have that ability to say, well, there'll be periods in the season where maybe Bernard won't be fully up to speed, or Richarlison won't be fully up to speed. It's dead easy to go, oh, this is the thing, this is it now, we've solved it all, haven't we? But it only takes an injury or fatigue or suspension or whatever to you need that solution. But I think the good thing is now is that whereas before he was going, I'm not sure what is the final thing when I've got all my players fit, but that seems to have been sorted, certainly in the forward positions, certainly. But
I think it just looks better balanced all over the place.
Yeah, that's it.
And I think the key to continue it is that players you bring in, there can't be a drop off, and that's our next challenge. Now our next challenge is if Bernard comes out and someone comes in, there's no real drop off. We're still getting a good player who works hard. It mightn't be as much of ability wise as Bernard, but we'll do the work Bernard does. So. But he might be able to do something a bit different. I
think the 2 best teams in my lifetime, the sort of Martinez first season, in terms of how it worked and how it gelled, and the Moyes team with your Cahill, your Arteta, your Fellaini, they all had good balance, but also versatility within that. And I feel that we haven't had that for a while because of the new project, and we've sort of had a bit more of a scattergun approach and different things like that. We've maybe bought 2 specifically in one area and stuff like that. The 2 best sides I've seen in terms of football wise and ability, I think we're starting to get back to that. I think there's more of there just seems to be more of a way to play.
Seems like a plan.
Yeah.
And we haven't had a plan.
No.
And Martin has lost his plan after the first season.
Exactly.
By breaking up the defence.
It's like you said before the game, you saw the team and you were like, and that's what you need. You need that consistency, that run, and that when you don't know your best team, that's when you know you're going to struggle because you're forever constantly changing things, like you said.
We're all guessing then, aren't we? And he's guessing.
Whereas now you go to the match, you're in the concourse, and you see the team, and you're like, there's no shocks, there's no surprises,
happy with that.
And you know it's a winning team as well. That's off the bottom.
Creating that, isn't it, Alan? I think we started the game really well, and that was the thing for me. Well, it was all...
After that first minute, Lacazette...
When he went through, Jags hit him?
No. Zuma hit him. Yeah, Zuma hit him.
Well, they're going to get... No, but there's no... People will look and go, oh, well, we didn't start. But at the end of the day, it's a Premier League team. They were 3rd or 4th. Could have gone 3rd. they're going to get chances in a game, aren't they? And it's not about what. In general, the opening 10 minutes, we were all over them. They had the first, they broke quickly first, then we just had the ball.
Yeah.
And then it was us, and we got players in, and Richarlison got in early on and should have done better. But it was who was winning the midfield battle. I mean, the percentage thing come up, and it was like 49-51 after about 15 minutes, but we'd had 3 or 4 shots at goal already, and that was the key. I mean, they could have had the red card after 5 or 6 minutes. That Gwen, however you say his name, Guendouzi or whatever, the tackle on, and I jumped up at him, because I watched the ball. Everyone else watched the ball, but I watched them follow through, and he caught Luca Dean eye up on the shin.
I think those first 10 minutes as well, a lot of people, we know, especially, I've been talking about the passing and the passages of play, but it's the work off the ball as well. We're back to where we need to be, that level where Sigurdsson, Calvert-Lewin, we're defending from the front.
Yeah.
And that's what in the modern game, that's what you've got to do. And I feel like we weren't doing that a few months ago, but now we are. I think we said before we started recording that if you do that, that's the biggest thing. Yeah. And once you do that, the rest follows.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. But we got the goal from a set play.
Well, that was the other thing about yesterday, wasn't it? It was the option. We've got seems to have an outball now when we need one, and Dom started the game so well. You know, the first couple of challenges, first ones he won. He won them in the air. Or there was that first one where he
only had to straight from the kickoff.
Yeah, but there was that first one where the ball went long and he brought it down, did the little turn and then laid it off. And you just felt like from then,
that set the standard then.
These aren't at it, and he is.
Yeah.
And straight away you could see that they knew that we could play both ways, and that again that's a really important thing, that you've got to be able to play both ways, and that's a big thing that I think Dom's added to his game recently, is that ability now to win the ball, get it down, and start again higher up the pitch. And all right, he doesn't always get it right, because sometimes I think he gets it down and there's an option to go straight away, and he doesn't. He just wants to settle. But at least, if he's hitting a blue shirt straight, then he's getting it. And I think the throw for the goal showed you that we're a lot more confident now in what we're doing.
There's the impetus, isn't there? We want to score a goal. Yeah. Like it in the past, it's been a bit lethargic and stuff. Whereas they're all on the front foot now.
But I feel like things like that though highlight to me that things are now being worked on on the training ground, and the throw. And what's great about that is okay, Jags scores the goal, but Jags wins the first header. So in other words, when they're training and they're doing it in different ways. So the person who flicked it on normally might have been Michael Keane, but then he's bringing Jags in and going, Michael Keane mightn't be on the pitch. You're his understudy as such. So therefore, I want you to do that. You need to, when you see subs getting brought on and the assistants are going through all the charts and all that, and it's like, well, this is where you should be, because I'm replacing him, and that's his job. Now that's your job. So I thought that was a real insight, because it's not just like throw it at the wall and see what sticks. There's got to be a purpose in everything you're doing. Luca Dean, long throw, we've seen that. Arsenal fans complaining that it was a foul throw. It wasn't, because as long as some part of your foot is on the line, then it's allowed. Jag wins the first flick. Then Dom is in there again, like the Richarlison goal against Chelsea.
Yeah.
He's winning that header. He's causing that chaos. He's keeping the ball alive. It's all about the second ball as much as the first ball. And it's one of their plays on the foot, and Jags is just onside. He's just onside, just onside. And he's alive to it, and he knocks it in, and we're 1-0 up. And
well, I think as Calvert-Lewin, he's leading the line. It's all about, you've got to set the tone, haven't you? And there were loads of moments in that first half where, like, a few fist pumps, where especially when the Arsenal keepers got the ball, and a lot of strikers would just like let him go. Calvert-Lewin has legged it. Good sliding challenge, and it's got the crowd up.
But it come off the goalie, and we got the throw.
We got the throw, and it gets it going. And when you're that sort of, you've got to be the sort of talisman when you're up there on your own. I think he's really growing into that now, and he knows the role to a T. And it's just, I like that there's the desire from every player now. And it's, remember, like the Phil Neville tackle on Ronaldo. We had a few of those yesterday. Not as big, But it's just when you see the players working so hard and fighting for every ball, it just gets the fans up, and then the fans and players help each other.
It's energy, isn't it? And what you're seeing now is you're seeing the hard work coming to the fore, the pressing, the chasing in numbers. And that's what we did. We scored the goal. We didn't let them settle, and we pushed on, and we started winning the ball back. Ghana was winning everything back. But, we then seen a little flick by Bernard. I mean, Bernard ruined that. Miles Maitland early doors, didn't he? Or Maitland Miles, whatever his name is. He destroyed it.
I don't think he knows what his name is anymore.
I don't think he does after 10 minutes. He flicked it, brought it down, dragged it back, then he comes through, he popped it through his legs and laid it off. And it was that kind of thing that got us going. And when you've got players like Andre Gomez and Bernard, who was so comfortable on the ball, Gylfi, comfortable in possession, it means that a team like Arsenal, no matter where they are in the league, find it difficult to get any foothold in the game. I don't put it down to whether they were poor or they weren't allowed to be. Everton was superb. Yeah. If we'd have got beat, if they'd been the opposite way, no one would have said, Everton were poor.
I think also were like passages in the game, to be honest. Because we were so good.
They allowed them to play. Yeah. And there's not, this is why I don't buy into this. The gap between the six is it's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. The gap between Liverpool and City might be massive to everybody, but the third downwards, it's not massive. What it is what they're brilliant at is consistency. That's all they've got over Everton. And tell me they're miles better than Everton, because they're not. Out of that Arsenal side, I'd take Lacazette every day of the week. I'd take Aubameyang. I'd take Ramsey. After that, I'm going.
Yeah. Much for muchness, isn't it?
Ozil on his day, fantastic. Yesterday, he's got the heart the size of a pea. And if he's your captain, leading your team out and you're on away from, you'd be looking going, why is he captain? Oh, he's brilliant, but why is he captain? Let him just get on with his game. And Everton steamrolled them, and that was the thing. And when you've got a team as good as they are and he can't lay a glove on you, it's not because they're bad. It's not because they aren't turned up. It's because you're not allowing them to. Yeah. When you've got players who are comfortable, and the only way you can take teams like that and hammer them into submission is if you can keep the ball and work the ball. And Everton have done that for weeks and weeks now, and they're only getting better and better. It doesn't matter who they play now, because it's about controlling the ball. United will be the same. They might have a bit more about them because they'll have a bit more needle, but Everton will still manipulate the ball. And if they do it in the right way, they'll beat United as well.
It's energy though, isn't it? I mean, it really is about the energy levels. I think they've gone up through the roof. I was watching the other day. I was watching a clip of last season's when they beat it 5-2, and but you know what though? It was just,
it was 2-1 for a while.
But the space in midfield that we allowed them to just pass. No one pressing, no one having a go at them.
They're a great side at passing the ball, aren't they? They knock it
down.
But
there's no energy levels, and I think going back to what you're saying with Dom there. I think what Dom's managers obviously said to Dom is, it's your shirt to lose, and I think what's really important about him and what he's done recently is, I think he's accepted in a way that he's not the striker who's going to score all the goals, but his job in a game is to be busy and alive and create chances and be selfless, and that's what he is now. And he will get chances, of course he will, but he won't get loads of chances, and he won't get loads of chances till he starts having better movements in the box. I mean, yesterday there was loads of times that we had the ball on the left and the right, and he gets in the box and he's just too static for me. Yeah. He needs to look at the situation and go, where would I best affect this? There's times where if he just, the easy option is go towards the ball. I think there's times when this is what great strikers do. They just peel off and go round the back and almost just wait for and go. Everyone gets attracted to the ball. Well, I'll just go round the back and see what happens. And he hasn't got that yet. So it's almost like he's made this conscious decision. Well, I'll do everything else then. I will run myself into the ground for the sake of this team, because no one else was doing that. Yeah, and you're not going to get the chances. So what else are you going to do to affect the game? And he's just allowing us to play at the moment 10, 15 yards higher up the pitch. Yeah. And he's working on all those other things. And it's like the pennies, finally dropped. You work hard, you will create opportunities rather than opportunities just being given to you on a plate. And you're seeing that now. Fans, that performance yesterday was as close to the performance that I seen last year at Man City away, where I seen this complete centre-forwards performance in terms of just hassling and running and doing all those things. And far too many times we've come in here and you've said, What does he do? What does he do? And I've just gone, and I've seen what he can do, but he's not doing it enough. And it's like the last few games, it's finally dropped. You put all that hard work in, and you get your rewards. Like, it mightn't be a goal, but it'll be everything else.
But it doesn't always need to be a goal, because of course, we want our centre forward to score goals, and it'd be great if he can add that to his game regularly. But while he's learning that, and while you're absolutely right about his movement. This is something I've criticised him on about being a centre forward, is that you've got to be alive in the box. It's no good it's not great just being the link player outside the box. It works, you can do it, but ideally you want to score the goals. That's what you want to do. But what he is doing, yesterday, what he did, he looked at those three centre-backs and went, I'm having every one of you. And this is why I criticised him with Van Dijk the other week, because he didn't fancy it, because Virgil was too slow for him and he should have challenged himself, and he didn't. Since then, he's gone to Chelsea's. He had to go against David Luiz, didn't care. Had to go against Rudiger. He had West Ham's defenders all over the show last week, and he's done it again yesterday by getting them involved.
That's the thing for me, the last 3 wins, he hasn't scored, but he's been the key man. For over the 3 games, he's been the key player. And it's about, I remember at the start of when Koeman didn't get the centre forward he needed, I banged on about the way we play with the players buzzing around, we need that focal point. And Calvert-Lewin for this Silver team is the focal point. And I feel like what you said about Van Dijk, there were a lot of times where Calvert-Lewin, I think he maybe naively thought, as a centre forward, I've just got to go up for headers. Whereas now I think he's using a bit more nous, and he's using his body better to with the movement and the positioning, where he's taking a step forward and getting in front of the defender and using different parts of his body, and he's spinning off them. But as well, he's a bit of a target man with his back to goal, but you can play him in, and he's fast across the ground.
That's what annoys me about him. If there's anything that annoys me about him, it's that he doesn't offer the spin enough. Yeah. And when he did yesterday, they were terrified. I mean, that's Socrates, whatever his Papastathopoulos, Socrates, whatever his name is, he got booked for blocking him off, because he dragged him down. That was me when I used to play, or at any level you would ever play. If someone's booked, you'd always say, play on him, he's been booked. Yeah. And he should have involved him a bit more, because he was losing his head a little bit, wasn't he? Mustafi was a bit calmer, and Monreal was Monreal, but I'd have tried to play him. But what he did was he gave them something to worry about. So he'd come short and take it on the chest, he'd lay it off. What I wanted to see was spinning in behind, because he had the legs, which you mentioned early on. When he went in that foot race with Mustafi, he flicked it on himself and then still got there, knocked it past him, and if he wouldn't have took him, he was in. Albeit on the angle. Mustafi knew he had to take him. That turn of pace, he should be doing that 5 times a game. He should be saying, play me in, because I'm quicker than all of these. He's been recorded as one of the fastest in the Premier League. Yeah. So let's get him running that way. Yeah. But in the first half, what he did really well was he linked the play brilliantly. He brought it down, and by doing that, he allows us up the pitch. Knock it off, he'd touch it up, he'd hold it, he does that little thing where he almost delicately flicks it round the defender. It's brilliant the way he takes it.
He's got really good feet,
I think. He's got great feet. I mean, he does the step. We won't talk about the step over in the second half for no reason, and then he fell over. But he linked the play really well in that first half, and that gave Arsenal a real problem. They just couldn't.
The thing about it is, though, I think what's really good, I mean, he's created a real problem for the manager, because there's no one to replace him off the bench either.
No.
Do you know what I mean? It's like there's no one to replace him, because he's the way he works and the way the team's set up. It's, you look at him and go, if you bring Cenk Tosun on, that allows the opposition to play. And maybe that's another thing he's looking at, going, I've got to do more, because I've got to be fitter and I've got to be stronger, and I can't be blowing up my ass with the last 10 minutes because I'm some.
Oh, he was yesterday.
No, I know, but that's because he's worked so hard.
Yeah.
But you can't replace him, and that's where that's what he's got going for him now. That if I stay on the pitch, I'm going to get more chances. No one's looking at me. No one's going to be holding my number up after an hour, because he's put himself in that position. All right, of course there will be games. That's great for him. I'm not saying you take that the right way and go, well, this was buying me a little bit of time. Maybe Silva's pulled him and gone, you're my centre forward for the rest of the season. Keep hold of that shirt. Don't lose that shirt.
Because I know strikers they're rated, aren't they, by goals. But I think going forward, he's a key player to how we're going to play. Whether we sign another nippy little striker to complement him, whether we get an out goal scorer, I think as a plan B off the bench in certain fixtures, I think Calvert-Lewin, the way he's playing at the moment, the way he links the play up, you know, I know a few people say, oh, he might need, you know, in the past he might need a spell out on loan or whatever.
No,
I think he's really progressed, and hopefully he can keep progressing and add the goals to his game.
He's like Tom for me. Is that they're too far down the line now to think that the squad, even if we go and buy a centre forward in the summer, like even if we went and got Timo Werner, I know he's going to buy him, but I'm just throwing a name out because someone said to me, why don't we buy him? Even if we bought a player like that, Calvert-Lewin would be a direct rival to. It's no good going like we'll set him back now. But he doesn't need to go on loan. Like Davis doesn't need to go on loan now. But Calvert-Lewin in particular, from September to now, or October, is improved more than any other player in our squad. Yeah. So you hope that with a bit more coaching and a bit more confidence that he'll go up another level. Because when you look at that first half, with him, with the link play with him, we got in so many times. I mean, the Charlison gets in twice. One right on half time, and Gomez. We've got 3 men at the back post. And if he just dinks it, Gomez heads it in, it's 2-0. And it's the reward for a good first half, because you knew that Arsenal were going to have to change it at half time to try and get a foothold in the game. And when you've got a player like Aaron Ramsey on that bench and Aubameyang, you're thinking...
This subs worried me more than anything yesterday.
Wasn't it? And, you know, they both come on at half time. They were both, you know, Ramsey immediately was involved.
Second half, I thought, first half we were brilliant. We had the lead. We probably should have maybe got another one if we, you know, there's a couple of opportunities, not a massively clear. But the second half, I think, for that first 10 minutes, and it was only really that first 10 minutes, I think the difference was Ramsey came on, and Ramsey was a completely different player because he picks the ball up and he runs with it. So therefore he's going past your press. And I think we've seen early on Gomez get caught by him as well. Gomez had probably had a little bit more time in the first half. Can we just talk about that pass he played to Richarlison? No look pass from the left hand side to the right hand side. I seen a great tweet saying if Ozil had done that, he would have got a 3-season deal from Netflix and about 1 million endorsements.
Is it the one that he couldn't keep in?
Yeah, it just went out.
If he'd have kept it in, he was offside.
But
the management was like that. But the pass wasn't even on. It wasn't even on.
He didn't even look.
Arrowed it.
Dean gave him the ball, and he just, without looking, it was amazing. But Ramsey, he caught him in possession, and then he brought Ramsey down and got booked for it. But for that first 10 minutes, Ramsey was going past the press, so therefore everyone has to go a little bit deeper. And he's going to Juventus. They're mad. But he for that first 10 minutes just gave us something to think about, and obviously the ball.
You got to half time, and the stats were 5 attempts on goal and 1. And 5 minutes into the second half, it was 5-3 because he'd had 2. Yeah, he had the Pickford punch, which wasn't a great punch, and he lobbed it back, and he sliced another one wide. But he'd had, and straight away you're thinking, he's give us something totally different to worry about here because he is. You're right, he's breaking from midfield and.
What I thought happened after that though was we got our handle of it really quickly, and again maybe like West Ham last week, it might took us a little bit longer. We win a 2-0, we were comfortable. Come on, second half they changed things around, of course, and it just took us a little bit longer. And you go back to the Newcastle game where we didn't get hold of the changes, and we made wrong changes. And I don't, you know, that's what it is. But I was so happy to look at it and go, well, they've made changes, we've responded really quickly, and actually now it's us on the counter-attack all the time. And that comes down to probably, I know something we haven't spoke about, it's the confidence now probably in the defence as well. I know we spoke about Jags, but the unit, that defensive unit for the last few games, everyone is defensively looks like they know the job. And we spoke about before about the, you know, scoring from a long throw, and that looked like it's been worked on. But defensively, we look so much stronger. We look every set piece. We seem to be able to deal with it. Zuma yesterday, and we spoke about a couple weeks ago with Mina in the Chelsea game. How every time a set piece come in, Mina was like, "I'm having this." Well, Zuma looked like that yesterday, and he looked like that last week. Every set piece, I'm having this. I'm taking charge of the situation, and that wasn't there beforehand. There was no one. Certainly up to the Newcastle game, no one was taking responsibility for any of that. And Zuma yesterday was just like, I'm having
I think everyone looks hungry for the ball.
Yeah.
Everyone wants it. The defence want to just batter everything away. Big tackles, covering loads of ground to keep things out. And it's the midfielders as well. Like, you know, you'll have Michael Keane coming out with the ball, and the Gomez will want it. Idrissa Gana Gueye will want it because the confidence is slowly building, and there's Goodison's been reinvigorated, and there's just that sort of like feel good factor where players want to be part of it and getting on the front foot.
Well, you look at Ghana yesterday, the amount of times he strode forward with the ball, particularly second half, flying.
We'll talk about Ghana in a minute. Don't be.
But there's such a purpose, isn't
the defence point is right, because I think the goalkeeper was excellent again yesterday in terms of it was just that one punch that he didn't get right. But other than that, he was calming things
His
down.
kicking was
He played a couple of great balls first time.
To the left.
And I think there's no arsing about, and that's what he needed. And he was on it. When he's on it, he's one of the best keepers around.
But even if you look at like the last minute, the corner they got in the last minute, literally was the last minute of the game. There's no panic. There's no, you look at.
You've just got that nervousness because it's the last minute.
No, but what I mean is though, forget about us. The actual players didn't look nervous. Zuma come and won the ball, and then one of our players is away with it, and there's no, that relieves the tension in the crowd. No one's sitting there going, oh, no, we're going to score. There's no panic. I mean, their second...
That's zonal marking needs to go.
Their second half, it was like 4-2-4. And if you think about it, if you've got Ramsey, Aubameyang, Lacazette, Mkhitaryan, Ozil for a little bit, you're looking at that going, fuck hell. Against an Everton defence, they'll create one thing that the keeper will have to make a worldie. And apart from that shot that killed just wide back, Pickford would have had it covered, I imagine.
Well, I was right behind it, and he hit it well, but Pickford did have it covered. Same as the Richarlison curled one in the second half. That Leno.
Apart from that, you're expecting, there could be one. They'll have one. They didn't have one.
They normally wheel out Giroud there to equalise with a header against us or something, don't they? But they haven't got that option.
They didn't have the option, and the defence just, and even putting Jags in there, and let's be honest, it's the whole turnaround in form it's been built on that defence, because we've been cutting out those silly goals that were costing us. We were saying a few weeks ago how many games we'd only lost by one goal, one mistake. It cost us a goal, and by cutting those mistakes out, listen, we're still not a team that scores a lot of goals. We know that, but if you're cutting out all those silly mistakes, then you've got that chance to win those games.
We've lost seven or 8 of our 13 defeats have been by a single goal, which means that you're in most games. Okay, we've won some by a single goal, and yesterday will be one of those, of course. But it just shows you that you are kind of middle of the road, and it is because you're trying to play on the edge. And a few of those games were over Christmas when we had nothing in our legs,
The clean sheet record as well.
Well, the third best clean sheets, most clean sheets in the league now, which is bizarre, because it feels like we let go. It felt like we let go.
It's nice for Silver and for the Everton defence to dispel a bit of a myth there that we can keep clean sheets. I think we look quite solid. We do. Like we said, Arsenal have got some quality players, and as a fan, you are a bit nervous at times when they get a corner. But really, it wasn't in doubt, was it? We were the best team.
On the flip side of that, I mean, we should have scored 3, 4 yesterday. I mean, the opportunities we had in that second half on the break were just not necessarily not clear-cut chances in terms of we've made the keeper work. But that's the other annoying thing, though, is that we didn't make the keeper work enough times.
As much as he was fantastic, and he was yesterday, the back pass by...
He should have lobbed them.
When he pulled it down to the Vitter straight away, before the keeper got a chance to set, then he should have lobbed them.
I thought he should have lobbed them.
He waited till he was right on top of him before he hit it. If he'd just fired it at the keeper, across him, he'd have probably scored. And
I think if you're 2-0 up there, he lobs him, and it goes in. Because it's 1-0, it's like he's trying to make sure, and that loses the opportunity.
But we had loads of them.
No, we had Sigurdsson running onto a Richarlison ball where if he hits it anywhere else, or it takes a little nick off someone, it's in the back of the net. There's
Richarlison missed one at the back post.
Where it just spun away from him at the last second.
There was one. Oh, it annoyed me so much. It was late on, and it was Walcott, and he had about 4 in the box, and he played this weird lofted cross that needed someone. I can't remember who got. I think we got a corner out of it. But we had like 4 in the box, and it was just like,
even
put it
Davis,
to
when he
feet.
come on, had one, it was like slow motion, they stopped.
Yeah.
And it was like, carry on. And then he took it, hit it, and he got a block.
Sigurdsson as well, it's the ball too well.
I know.
Yeah.
He had one in the
times he kills it, and the keeper.
He had one in the first half where it was perfect for him, and you could see the shape he was trying to get on it, and if he got it, and it just went straight.
But it always seems to bend into the keeper's hand that he doesn't get it.
Well, he had 7 shots yesterday, which is more than that, or the same as what Arsenal managed as a team. So it showed. I mean, 23 attempts at goal to 7.
But that's the thing. We've talked about the Goodison atmosphere now. We've tried to get it back. I think we've all agreed that like the game against Arsenal was like the sort of Moyes era where you'd have swayed after swayed after swayed after attack, and with each missed chance, the Gladys especially gets that little bit
you're waiting for it, aren't
and you do, and it's coming, and that's what it felt like. And
you said off camera to me, and it was like it just felt like we were getting that second goal. It was coming and coming, and more shocked that we didn't.
Yeah. And even like you said, the corner in the last minute, Zuma heads it and we break, and you're ready for the second goal. Because under Moyes, so many times in that team, we'd only be winning by the odd goal, but you always knew that we'd get over the line.
It's weird,
that's
isn't
what
it?
It felt like.
No, just going back to the corners a minute. It's almost like someone was shouting around me yesterday, why aren't we leaving Bernard up on the corners? But I almost feel like Silva uses opposition corners almost like, it's almost like a way of sucking people in to have a counter attack. Because if we break fast with someone like Bernard and you've pulled all their players up, then you've got more opportunity to get away.
That was what his big play was at Watford, and what he used at Olympiacos. The amount of Esterville, the amount of goals his team scored from the opposition's corner from breaking. I mean, we've seen probably the best team goal we've scored this season, I would say, off the top of my head, was against Brighton at home, when it was their corner and Gylfi to the jar. We broke, and something like 6 or 7 seconds later, the Charles scored. And it is with that, and you're right, we did it so many times yesterday. We cleared the ball, and all of a sudden we'd have them, and they'd be stretched, and it was a final ball. We had one, and I alluded to it before with Dom. Brought the ball down brilliantly, turned, and all of a sudden it was 4-on-2. And he, instead of just rolling it into Bernard's path, he was running at them. He tried to step over and fell over, and they just took it off him. And you're like, if you'd have just rolled that off, Bernard's in with the keeper, he can even cut it back to you, and you've got a tap in. It was little moments like that.
It's weird because it's hard to describe, but you feel it in the air, sort of thing. It's like with the wingers and the wing backs and the intricate play, you know it's coming. And you know that like we've had a chance a minute ago, it's coming, and it's like that slow build up.
It's the confidence, and I think the fact that they just couldn't get near us, and that to me was the biggest evidence that it's. When we're on, that's what I said to you before we started filming, is that if you get the hard work elements right, if you're on, listen, we're all 8 out of 10 today because we're all battling for every single ball, then your quality, and this is what I was saying about the first half, and you've got Gomez in the midfield, and you've got Sigurdsson and Bernard, you've got players who can take the ball and keep it for you. Luca Dean, confident, played one outrageous pass yesterday in the first half that wasn't even on to Bernard. That kind of thing, you've got those players in the ball, comfortable on the ball. That quality is up there with what Arsenal have got. It is.
That's as they say, it's about wanting it more in the opposition as well.
I suppose a big part of it comes down to...
Their strikers are better, by the way.
A big part of it comes down to the conditioning, isn't it? We've seen in the last few weeks, one game a week has made a massive difference to the likes of Gomez, to the likes of, Bernard's legs. Everyone looks a lot happier, and that's given the manager a more time to work on stuff, more players to be refreshed, so that we can, if you need now to pull players in and out, you all know what the jobs are. I think finally we've just got that moment in the season where we've been able to go, we can work on stuff now. You think about Gomez's performance when he played against Southampton, he was absolutely terrible. His legs were just gone. You could see it, and that just having that time to refresh himself. I mean now I'm sitting here just worrying about how good his performances are, because you just think someone's going to be watching this, but you can't be fearful of that, can you? Do you know what I mean? I was listening on the radio on the way home, and people are like, "Oh, you're going to get this club coming in for him, that club." You can't fear that, can you? Because the only way you're going to get to the top 6 or the top 4 or win anything is by having players that have got the ability. If you stop hoping that clubs are going to be looking at your players is when you have a team full of shy players, essentially. So you've got to convince those players to stay. You've got to say, here's the project, this is what we're hoping to achieve, and this is where we want to go. And you've got to keep those players together. And you can't be fearful. You can never be fearful of having too many good players. Players will leave you one for what I've said about managers and I say it about players. They'll leave you either because they go on to bigger and better things or because they're shite. So what difference does it make? You cherish them while you've got them and hope that you can create something. I mean, you spoke before about Moyes' team. Biggest regret about the Moyes team is never won anything. So those players you had for that moment, look like Lukaku's highest Premier League goal scorer for Everton. He scored 20 goals and this and that. He's got nothing to show for it. We've got nothing to show for it. So you just hope that when you have these players, they do something. Yeah. And we can't fear losing any of our players. And whatever you read, whatever you see, someone might come calling. Real Madrid are coming calling for Hazard. Why? Because he's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant. And they want him. They want that brilliance. So you can't be fearful. Otherwise, you can have a team full of Sanzos. Nobody wants that.
But I think what's been good as well is that all the summer signings seem to have like bought into the club. They seem to be enjoying the football.
Why have they bought into the club, do you think?
Go
on. No, I'm asking you why. Why do you think they are?
It's not a trick question.
Why do I think they bought into the club? I think it's more recently that I feel they bought into the club. I just think there's a direction there.
Where's the direction coming from?
Well, it's the terms of like Gomez. He's had a horror spell at Barcelona, and all of a sudden he's absolutely adored.
It's all hugs. It's all hugs.
Bought into it because of the manager. That's why they bought
into it. They
haven't bought it. They haven't come into Everton and gone, oh, this is boss, this.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Goodison.
You might see the plans.
You know what I mean? It's all because of the manager and because of Marcel plans. And that's again goes back to when, you know, there's a nervy element of Evertonians. We were sack him. Well, do you like Andre Gomez? Because he won't stay here if it's Silva doesn't, and he wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Silva. Same with Richarlison, same with Bernard. So you can't go, them plays are great, but I don't like the manager, because it's all the thing, isn't it? You've got to let it all develop. You know, we're all desperate for it. We all want the same thing.
Yeah.
But you've got to let that play out as well, haven't you? You've got to kind of go, let's see where we go. You know, you mentioned David Moyes' team there. Well, okay, kept us up with 8 games. Then we had a great season, finished 7th, and then we finished 17th. Now, if Twitter would have been the way it was, Moyes would have been sacked when he finished 17th. And yet he went on to, okay, didn't win anything, but we had some good teams, and we got to a cup final and semi-final, you know, and a League Cup semi-final and stuff. So we were all right with Moyes. It was just money, I think, stopped him being able to take that next step. Got to be careful. So what we've got to do is now we've got to build on what we've got. We've brought in these players. You're right. Every one of them. The only one we can scratch our head over is Mina, because we just haven't seen enough of them. Every other player who's come in this era with these two has been excellent, and they've made us better. Ted's absolutely right. If you worry about other people looking at your players, you're never gonna be better than 9th or 10th, because none of the top teams are going to want players at Bournemouth, really. There might be one player. He might go Callum Wilson, but then he's 27, or
Brooks.
But he's, sorry, Bournemouth probably wasn't a great thing, but Brighton, or then you're going to be 13th and 14th, because most people are going to go, really bothered about them.
No,
what you want is the confidence to say, we've got fantastic players. Yeah, you might want Richarlison, but he ain't going nowhere. Or if you want him, he's 110 million. So you come with 110 million and we'll buy 3 different ones, because Brands is already looking ahead. We're all nervous, but realistically, the last player we lost that we probably didn't want to lose was Lukaku, wasn't it? Yeah. And maybe people didn't want John Stones to go, but he really wanted to go. Before then, I'd say it was Lescott. Then before then was Rooney. Yeah. So, but there's like 4 or 5 players in 15 years, and we've been all right. So we don't really sell a lot. Liverpool so have to sell Coutinho and Suarez. Now they might win.
I mean, the only reason Gomez is because obviously he's not our player, so we've got to try and.
Oh, of course.
Got to try and get.
But I mean, even little things like at the end of the game, he walked over to the corner.
That's what I mean about buying into the club.
It's
like even Mina's not played that much, but you see the community stuff. And I think it's all about winning trophies and that, but if you've got players that actually care about the club and care about what's going on...
Your coaching staff fostered that, don't they? Because Koeman... We had an Evertonian who's just been on Twitter wearing a hat looking like he's had... I'm doing whatever he's doing.
McPartland.
Right? he didn't want to leave Everton, and Ronald Koeman made sure he broke that relationship down because he couldn't have him. And the kid, alright, he turned out and done whatever he done was wrong, and he's got gobshite for doing what he did. But what I'm saying is at the start of that process, he was staying and wanted to sign a new contract, and Koeman broke that down and broke other relationships down. Martinez did, rightly or wrongly.
At the end of the day, these are people who are they happy? Are they happy going to work forget about Saturday or Sunday or whenever you play the game. Are they happy going to work every single day?
Daily basis.
Are they happy going training? Have they got good lads with them? Is there a good team spirit? Did they get on with them? Look at we've said Moyes a couple of times, but look at that. Look at the relationship with Mikel Arteta and Tim Cahill. But they have been from two, completely different backgrounds. Okay, they're around the same age and they're both beautiful human beings. But they're mates and they're still mates, and that's clear. That's clear, and that's what you want. Can you find those relationships? Especially
Carsley on the interview that Paul did for us, so about Gravison. Yeah, birthdays and Christmases we speak, and he phones me because he loved it. He loved going to work because that Moyes knew that was one thing he had to do. He's fist pumping, gaining, throwing arm fella. Has done it over there with them. He's created that team spirit. Guardiola, no one does it better than Guardiola. Hate me, guys, if you like. Hate me, but win the game, and all that. Because it's about the players liking each other and wanting to do it. Any good team with a good team spirit has got a great chance of winning a game, because when it's tough, you can look across at your mate and go, he's giving everything, I'm going to. And that's what it reminded me of yesterday. It reminded me of a Moyes type team performance. Garner, tackle. Gomez, tackle. Little Bernard with his little legs, tackle, bringing the ball away. Every one of them wanted it. Every single one of them wanted it. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been so dominant.
And I'd tell you who's a big component for that for me is when you look at Garner. The lad could have gone. He was definitely in the Donald Duck car park in Disneyland Paris, waiting for that phone call. Waiting for that phone call.
Like that one, please.
He was waiting,
Messi.
And it never happened. It was his dream move, and it never happened. And he's come back, and I honestly think this is his best period at Everton. Yeah. He's just been sensational.
He reminds me of when he started.
He has been sensational.
When he started, and everyone was like.
But the difference is though, when he started and he was brilliant, everyone else was just like shite. Yeah. Whereas now he's brilliant, and he's brilliant, and in the last few games. The relationship with him and Gomez and having Sigurdsson in front of them as well.
The midfield really works.
It's just working, and it's what he does in that midfield now. We said it early on the season when we were playing well. He's the pivot in the team. He works in front of the defence, and then almost starts things the other way as well, getting the ball. And the last few games, I just think he's been sensational, really sensational. And I know, listen, we were all like, well, if he moves, he moves. No one would have denied him that, but the manager was like, no, because you're so important to this club, I can't afford to let you leave, because it's not a case of like, well, the season's over. For the manager, the season wasn't over. He's trying to build this thing to move it forward, and he knew that Garner was such a massive piece of that. We talked before about connections that were all fits together. Garner's basically the cornerstone. He's the thing that allows Gomez to play, to protect the defence. Everything is pivotal on him, but his attitude is just like, I'll show you how good I am. I'm not going to sulk. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to badmouth anyone. I'm going to be professional. And I've just loved his last few games. I just think he's so important. And okay, at the end of the season, we'll see what happens, but now, mate, you've done it the right way.
You have to. Whether he goes with your best wishes.
I hope he doesn't go, because these t-shirts are boss and they're available right now, and more people need to buy them.
He's done it all in a respectful way. We know that he wanted to go to PSG, but it's not because he's posted anything on Instagram. It's not because he's done an interview while he's been away with Senegal. You know,
Yeah.
It's because he's got his ambitions. Everything isn't his well before he joined.
No.
You know, we're
I
part of his,
believe he used to wear Everton tracksuits and.
But you know what I mean?
Peter
It's
Reid,
just,
love the Peter Reid.
it's just
Robbie Keane's mate. Robbie Keane said this is what you do.
Yeah. But I just think it's nice that a player has that respect for the club and the fans, and that he hasn't got his dream move, and as you say, he could have sold. Because that probably, that's a big move for him, and it's just made him better, as you say. He's been
The thing about it is, though, in his position, he could have sulked and still got his move. They're not asked. They know how good he is.
Yeah.
He's not bothered. We've seen loads of players do this, but he hasn't. He's gone, hang on, there's still half a season left or whatever. 4 months left.
All he's doing is he's making other clubs look at him as well. That which is, and hopefully what you hope will have happened is that, I'm sure it has, is that Marcel Brands and Marco Silva are going, right, he might want to go, who's around.
Well, that's the thing, it doesn't have to be a negative as such. Everything can turn into a positive, that a player who's getting on a bit now in his late 20s, we can get the big money for him because that's what he's going to get and reinvest. That needs to be the Everton plan,
This is what Brands will be.
I hope he stays.
No, I hope he stays, but this is what Brands will be doing. Brands will be looking and going, well, there's a player that we don't, they'll be looking at him going, well, of course we need to replace him. He's 30 years of age. We need to replace him anyway.
Yeah.
So how do we replace him? Do we replace him on our team? Do we buy a player in that is 21, 22, and we go, well, you're ready to go in there, competing with him, or maybe not. We buy him anyway, and he's like, well, now you can have your move. You're 30. We'll get 30 million for you. You'll pay for that player who's 21, and that's what I think we get too not too precious, because you want to get behind players, of course you do, but they all have a shelf life, like you said before. A player will leave your club at some point. Did anyone, when Tim Cahill left, did anyone sit there going, oh, I'm devastated? You were devastated if you're leaving him. And I remember the week after when he played for the Red Bulls, and I was just like, you're ours, you're not theirs. But that needed to happen because it was just the right time in his career to leave. And that happens it happens to everyone. So you've got to make that. Wenger used to be brilliant at it for Arsenal. He used to always know when a player was just almost like at that year left, maybe. Well, if I can get X amount of money for him, and I've already got his replacement lined up, then that's what we do.
No, I mean, that's what Brands alluded to last week, didn't he? He said, the days of 30-year-olds getting big contracts are gone now, whatever. We're changing it, and I think some people I was having a conversation on the way to the match yesterday with my mate's dad, and he was like, oh, I didn't like the way he said, Everton will have to sell players, though, as we go forward. It was like, well, everyone sells players. That's like I mentioned before. Model, Liverpool sell players, Manchester United sold Ronaldo when he didn't want it, and Spurs sold Bale.
As long as you don't do like a mass exodus like a Southampton or like a Monaco have done. But if you do it properly, I mean, you look at like Ajax, Dortmund in the past, they've sold players, and then but if you've got the right scouting network, there's always, unless it's Lionel Messi, you can replace them, can't you?
Of course, if you bring, say Brands brought 4 players in, and they were all brilliant, but one of them shone a little bit more, and you got more money from him, and he's done his job. Yeah. And then you just reinvest that money, and you go again, don't you? No problem. That's realistically, people in football, that's how it should work. Your football club shouldn't have to always rely on someone like Mashiri, putting their hand in the pocket and going like that. Your football club should almost be self-sustainable. Liverpool, they spent money, but the hedge fund hasn't put all that in. He's guaranteed them a loan, but they've spent money and reinvested it. And Klopp, to be fair to him, he's done it the right way. He's invested. He spent a lot of money, but they've also brought in money. That's what I want Everton to be self-sustainable and go, all right, we've got 4 of these great players. Now we might sell one of them for 75 million in 3 years because he's brilliant, and then we'll buy another 3 for 50 million. And we'll make one of them brilliant. But as a team, we're growing and moving forward. It's not always.
When you look at teams like Atletico Madrid, see how they've done it. You look at the list of strikers they've had, and they'll probably lose another one. I think Griezmann will still go to Barcelona, but they're ready for that. They're ready for that next thing. I think this has been the problem with Everton in the past. It's almost been like it's been a big shock when one of the best players wanted to leave, and it's like Everton's been like, oh, I didn't realise you wanted to leave. Yeah, of course. I want to leave because we're not winning anything, and I'm at a point in my career. It's about having people at your club who are like, yeah.
Do you think I know what your answer's going to be, so I'll sell. Do you think had Brands been here when Ron was here, right? And Ron takes the pen away from his contract, which he did on the day. You know, he's going to sign it, and his mum phoned and said, I've been told by whoever that you're not to... Do you honestly believe that Brands would have just let that run away to the point where we didn't have a replacement and got to the summer and went, oh, we probably need a striker here?
Not at all. I think anyone in football with a bit of common sense doesn't let that run away.
Exactly.
You've got to have, I've said it loads, you've got to have a plan.
He would have had the striker lined up the start of the season before.
But even if Lukaku had said, Everton's my life, I love them, I'm going to stay forever, you've still got to be looking at the next best striker to bring in, and we've just gone, all right, well, we don't want to sell Lukaku, we don't want to sell, all right, you can have him. And then you start the season, and it's just makes no sense to me, but now it feels like there is, again, a plan. You don't want to say it, do you? It isn't Evertonian sometimes because of what we've been through,
but we have. I mean, I think we can say that, but this is again going back to like what you were saying about Dom before, the role he's playing and how he's mature and he's doing well. We still need to bring strikers in. Yeah, I'd buy two in the summer if it was up to me, but one definitely. Try to, so that we've got no drop off. The more we can not have a drop off if one doesn't play and the other one comes in, the better team we are. So we can look and go, all right, we have, Dom's playing today, or Dom's not playing because we've got Augustine from Leipzig who's quick and sharp, can score goals, and then he's not doing it after 65 minutes, like you said, like we put Dom on. There's no drop off. There would have been a drop off yesterday. Yeah. If Tosin would have come on, and I love Tosin, I've said it before, but it would have changed the way we played because Tosin can't run in behind him. He's not going to win loads of headers in the air. Yeah, if a ball drops to him in a box, he can probably finish it. We know that he's a good goal scorer, but he's a good finisher when he's given chances. But the other part of the game would have gone, which is the reason why when Dom was breathing through his arse in the last 6 or 7 minutes, the manager was looking and thinking, I can't replace him. Unless he puts his hand up and goes, I'm done. There's no way I'm replacing him, because it's things like defensive work. That corner in the last minute, Dom was in there. Zuma went and won it and we broke, but Dom's in there to win it as well. So that's where Everton are going. Everton are going to that point where there can't be a drop-off with your players coming out the team. So that's why we have to look at another Garner, and we have to look at, that's the key, isn't it, to try and get there.
Definitely. Let's wrap it up. We've
spoke
a lot.
We've won though.
I know.
And it's great.
And we're happy.
And we have 5 clean sheets in 6. So it should be celebrated. Sure. Can we talk about Joel Martin?
No. Okay. Just leave it. Leave it there. Big thanks to Elle for coming in. Big thanks to Mike Voice holding out. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. It's all good. It's positive. We keep it going.
Who's your man of the match?
It was, I give 9s to Gomez and Dom.
Okay. Can't believe it. Was he? Well, that was, I put a poll out on Patreon before.
You didn't put a poll out. You didn't. You just said, who was your man of the match?
Well,
it's not a poll, is it?
Well, a vote
that's not a vote either. It's just comments.
Okay.
I mean, I'd teach you how to put a poll.
I'm sure the poll was there because I had to look, and the most votes were Dominic Calvert-Lewin, so there you go. He fell in with Garner with Matt. There you go.
Okay. It's good that we've all got different man of the matches.
It's good that there was so many to choose from. I mean, what was the average of your players? Was it mostly 7s or mostly 8s?
I mean, thanks for watching the video. Pickford got a 7. I think with Charlison and Gylfi got 7.5. Most of the back four got 8. I think Jags got 8.5 because he scored and because he's just boss. Gomez got a 9.
Bernard
got a 8.5. Okay. Garner got an 8.5, I think, probably. But it was Gomez and Dom both got 9s because they just got to both boss. Okay. There you go.
Nice.
There you go. Just go and watch the video. It's there. Go and watch it. Check it out. Thanks for watching Toffee TV, and we'll see you later.